Welcome, everyone. Happy Wednesday. I'm the Grace Strega, and I'm here to give you your daily collective read for today, Wednesday, January 22nd, 2025. What do we have coming through in the cards for today? Can I please have the first two cards in our 5-card spread? First two cards we are starting our day off with today are the Page of Swords in its reversal in combination with our King of Cups in its reversal. So let's talk about this, because I want to talk about a little bit of what we're seeing in the cards over the last few days. Now, one thing that was very interesting to note is prior to yesterday's reading, we had 2 days of readings where there was no feminine energy on the table. Not a single feminine energy card. Bearing in mind, this is not based on gender, but what one feels most aligned to, appeared in our readings. Now, there's a lot of cards here, but that's incredibly unusual. But again, one of the things that I often like to articulate upon is the fact that sometimes when I'm reading, there are a couple cards that like to make their presence known without actually popping up. And what I was effectively identifying here with a lot of that feminine energy not being on the table was that a lot of the feminine energy was in hermit mode. It's just sometimes the Hermit card, and we talked a little bit about this in the class that we recently taught over on Substack. That card and the Queen of Swords often like to make their presence known without coming on the table. So I just see even now a lot of that work. I want to say, and what's interesting about that is yesterday we had the Queen of Pentacles arriving, like almost on cue, with the Queen of Wands in its upright. Now, why are we seeing like all of that? Like this is what we're effectively seeing that's happening right now. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what I've been seeing energetically in terms of how this has been occurring. Because everything I keep seeing right now is there's a lot of energy processing. Processing. And a lot of that processing that's occurring right now has a lot to do with the fact that we're moving into Aquarius season. Now, there's a lot to process. And everything about the processing, I keep on getting unprecedented processing, having to process something that one has not processed before. That's a lot, right? And so we see even now that a lot of that stillness, right? And this is something that we're going to talk a little bit about, because this is also, I want to clarify something that I've been seeing or reading for that I've actually been misarticulating over the last few days, but I also wanted to look into. So as I mentioned, every time I keep reading for this new moon, everything I keep seeing keeps on saying Pisces, 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 Pisces on it. Now I need to amplify. I always point out that often when I look towards astrology after I do a tarot reading to understand why certain signs are coming through as I'm reading. So I was articulating, and I've been saying over the last few days, that the new moon is messy because of Pisces. I've been saying it's a Pisces, but it isn't a Pisces moon. I was misarticulating that. It's actually an Aquarius moon. But what I did discover is I went back and did some research to see what's been happening with Pisces, that it was associated with a lot of this full moon energy, right? Because everything I keep seeing has to do with the fact that I keep on getting this like vision of like a big wave, like the full moon in Cancer almost being like a big wave. And then there's all this fish when the wave pulls back. And I keep on seeing that that's supposed to be the Pisces energy, trying to sort through a lot of feelings and not knowing where to place them. But what I did discover, which is where the Pisces energy is coming from, is that Pisces has moved into the North Node almost at the exact same time. At the exact same time that we had the full moon energy. So what we're effectively seeing right now is there's a lot of unprecedented feelings that are coming up right now, right? There's a lot of this like unprecedented feeling, something new energetically arriving. And the difficulty point, the reason it feels destabilizing is because the Capricorn, like when Pluto was in Capricorn, it was very easy to put things into boxes, right? It was very easy to have an energetic feeling and say, this is that, this is that, this is that. But now there's a lot of navigating nuance and something that becomes energetically confusing. So working through a lot of that space of confusion right now. This is why this energy feels so ungrounded. Because, and this is one of the things that we're going to have to work on right now. The ability or the desire to disassociate right now is like reaching an energetic peak. Why? Because we talked a lot about the fact that we're moving into Aquarius. The benefit of Aquarian energy is often such that Aquarians, when it comes to inventiveness, incredible. When it comes to analytical thinking, off the charts. When it comes to something that feels very energetically logic-based, incredible. But what does Aquarian energy need to be wary of? We were talking a lot about this, about the fact that the water bearer energy. Why do we call Aquarians water bearers? Because Aquarian energy can take emotions and they can make them disappear. Okay? The air that takes up water, being able to take something, the recognition point that we can look at an emotion and we can think it out of existence, right? We can simply like pull it out. We can literally, like a lot of the Aquarian energy being like, look, I can take the emotions. Watch this. I'm going to do a magic trick. I made them disappear. But it's not. Evaporation isn't a magic trick. It's got to go somewhere. So that's why we see even now there's like and I want to this is why I want to stress right now. If you're feeling inclined to disassociate, don't. Because what happens when we disassociate? We feel like we're not feeling anything, but we are. The emotions have to go somewhere. And often what happens when the air takes up too much water? What happens when the air takes up too much water? A downpour, right? So that's why we want to make sure that we're doing work right now in self-regulating, right? Being energetically wary of disassociating. And I'm going to say this again. I've been saying this over. It is a messy new moon. And that's why I'm going to say this again. I'm going to keep saying this. I've been getting a lot of messages over the next 2 moon cycles. If you have unhealthy coping mechanisms, I want you to steer clear of them right now. Because, right, with the emotionality of the full moon in Cancer, that energy, it gets very easy to get emotionally carried away during full moons in Cancer. When we're experiencing and when we're in Aquarian energy, it becomes very easy to try to disassociate, right? To try to energetically go away into something. So again, if you've got unhealthy coping mechanisms right now, no, you don't. You're on a break, okay? I want you to energetically avoid them, at least until we get over the hump of this new moon. Now, for masculine energy right now, there's something that we were seeing that this is very difficult right now. There's a lot of work I keep on seeing having to do in the space of the masculine energy's confidence, right? Bearing in mind, this is not based on gender, but what one feels most aligned to. Masculine energy. If you're having a moment where you feel like your confidence is flagging, I would like to be your daily reminder and remind you that we're in a Mars retrograde. Nobody's got confidence right now. This is not a space of confidence. Confidence went on a little trip. Confidence grabbed their bags. Aries grabbed their bags and they are on vacation. Aries is somewhere far away having a little vacation. And that's why, again, everybody's confidence is going off like back and forth right now. So remembering, courage is what we do when confidence is not there. I know I've said this before. I'm going to keep on saying this while we navigate this Mars retrograde. Okay? Courage and confidence, they look really similar. They're like cousins. They look exactly alike, but they're very different because courage is never where confidence is and confidence is never where courage is. When we are sure of something, we don't need courage. We've got sureness. You don't need courage when there's sureness. Courage is what we do as we navigate our fear, right? And that's why I see like a lot of that work here, building into that state, finding that energetic courage. And I got to tell you, with some of this like amplification right now, listen, some of this amplification, some of this like energetic alignment stuff, you know, it can often amplify what we're feeling. So I want you to be very conscientious of how you're feeling right now, because it's very easy when we are not feeling confident to allow that to come into the space of projection, right? So making sure that you're not energetically projecting, but while building into that space of compassion for the self. And I just keep on seeing that this is something that's very important today, because everyone's feeling ungrounded. Everyone's feeling emotionally fragile. Everybody's feeling energetically testy right now, right? Because I'm telling you, even now, these moon cycles that we've been having, they're not great. They're not grounded. They're emotional. They're messy. They're confusing. Now, for a lot of the feminine energy right now, I feel like this is also working in the space or place of also, I feel like a lot of this, like, and this is what we want to avoid, because I see masculine energy feeling more emotionally fragile right now. And I see feminine energy feeling more energetically testy, right? So this is why I keep telling you right now, like, there's a little bit of this, like, I'm getting even now, and especially for the energy and separation, there's a little bit of this, like, pumping the brakes that we're feeling, as it were. Why are we seeing that right now? Because a lot of that has to do with the fact that this full moon that we just navigated brought up a lot of emotions. And it's a reminder that a lot of the emotions exist in the past. So if you're feeling very heavily nostalgic right now, or you're feeling very much like in that space of feeling like working through something, it's a lot of the soreness that comes through on the wake of some of these full moons in Cancer. Now, for energy coming into divine union right now, I keep seeing there's a lot of like airing of energetic frustration, right? But what I appreciate about this, at least for the energy that's both coming into divine union and the energy deep within divine union, is this is a little bit energetically easier, because I keep on hearing that energy saying to one another, on this we can agree, right? So even I feel like, again, for the energy coming into divine union right now, this is the ability of feeling fortified. Right now, the energy coming into divine union is in kind of like the best space right now, because the energy coming into divine union, I see that there's something about seeing something in the same way that's deepening an energetic intimacy connection. While for the energy deep within divine union, it just feels cranky. It just feels cranky. Everybody's cranky. But at least when you're in a space of cranky and you can come into that space of acknowledging it. But here's the thing, right? And this is what I'm telling you right now. Feminine is feeling more testy, and masculine is feeling more emotionally fragile. So we have to be, what do we have to do so right now? Everybody's got to give each other a hug. Everybody's got to give each other a hug. And I know you don't want to give a hug because we're in Aquarian energy. So I bet you're all like, get off of me. Like, I guarantee you, even if you're a hugger right now, you're probably like the don't get so close to me energy, because it's this Aquarian energy that's like wanting to disassociate. Center card for today's spread, please. One card to clarify. Clarification coming through right now. Man, 4 of Cups in its upright, right? It's a new feeling. I bet if you thought there was nothing new under the sun, boy, do I got some news for you. Infinite combinations mean infinite possibilities. And I feel like a lot of and this is what I'm going to say again. I do not want you utilizing this Aquarian energy in a way that don't be space cadetting it right now. I know that there's like this longing, like this, like, take me away. No, what are you talking about? Get out of it. Because like, here's the thing, like that energy, right? Like that disassociating energy, being like, oh, don't, it's okay, someone's going to come save us. What are you talking about? Who's going to come save you? We're energetically saving ourselves to a certain extent. But again, it's very easy to be like, it's air energy. right? It's a water and the air energy. So again, the water bearer, putting a lot of emotions, like, and this is what we have to be conscientious about, because a lot of the Aquarian energy sometimes gets a little too much when you're like, oh, it's okay. It's like the emotions, the things that are going to go away, like working through that to a certain extent, right? Making sure that you're not disassociating right now, but building into the space. And we're going to talk about the positive benefits right now of Aquarius energy. Again, what is Aquarian energy beautiful at? Planning, imagining, bringing dreams into reality, right? That a lot of the work, the thing about Aquarian energy, and again, it's a positive and negative around every sign. Aquarian energy is great when it comes to the thinking, but what does the Aquarian energy have to work on? What's Capricorn good at? The doing, the taking the ideal and making it applicable, taking the idea, taking the vision and grounding it into something functional, and not losing your excitement about it on the way, right? Because again, the difficulty that Aquarians often have is that Aquarians like to take in the water. They like to channel the emotions into the dream space. I adore Aquarian energy. But again, when Aquarians have to try to take that into reality, this is often why Aquarians go, no, you're ruining my ideal. You're ruining my dream. No, you're not doing it right. No, I'm not going to do it at all if it's not going to be perfect. Aquarians, you got this habit, right? Remembering that nothing is ever as perfect as it is up here. Good is better than perfect. Done is better than perfect. So a lot of that work, don't get too hard on yourself right now, because the thing with Aquarians is, again, the Aquarian energy can get real picky. If it's not perfect, I don't want to do it. No, that's not what I want. Nope. Like a lot of that energetic pickiness, right? So utilize that. Make sure that you're utilizing it in productive ways, right? Not in that way that it starts feeling like reality is annoying, right? Because I'm telling you right now, if you're feeling like reality is annoying, welcome to Aquarius season. Like, continuing to get clarification, right? Yeah, reality is annoying. Yeah, it's not perfect. Continuing to get clarification between our 2 of Swords in its upright and our 3 of Pentacles in its reversal. And here's what we're going to talk about this right now, because this is what we want to energetically avoid. Okay? Yeah, everything is beautiful in your dreams, but nothing is real there. Like the dream space is the dream space. The beauty of the tangible space is where we bring dreams into reality, right? And so and this is why I see even now, like a lot of this energy and separation, working in that space, feeling a lot of this, like it's not the way, and this is what's happening with a lot of the energy and separation. This is not the way I wanted my manifestation to manifest. This is not the way I wanted my manifestation to manifest, right? There's a lot of that feeling of letting go, right? There's a lot of energy right now in separation that is either feeling like they're letting go of a dream, but then in the moment that they let go of it, they say the dream is still ahead of me, right? Because when we focus too hard, this is the lesson right now for a lot of the energy in separation. When we focus too hard on what we desire something to be, we shield ourselves from the energetic possibilities of working in collaboration with the universe, right? And that's not a moment that we say, universe, I don't want to be here, right? We say, universe, surprise me. Surprise me, right? Coming into that space of not being too controlling, right? And this is something that Aquarians also work through, because when your dreams are perfect, right? When your dreams are perfect, where what you see is so focused, when you're trying to bring a dream into reality so much, sometimes that dream can energetically blind you to something that could be even better than you can imagine, right? And so I just keep seeing that there's a lot of energy right now in separation going through some of that work. And I can see some energy right now in separation that's saying to themselves, I can almost hear them saying it. They're going to look back on this and say, I let go of the dream, and that was the day I found the dream. I let go of the dream, and that was the day I found the dream. When we let go of the expectation of something that we energetically desire, we allow ourselves the perception to see it clearly. And so I feel like a lot of that energy right now, like this is a lot of that energy working through some of that shadow work that we talked about in separation, finding the energetic courage. But I told you, what does courage feel like? Courage often feels like surrender. Courage often feels like surrender. While for a lot of this energy right now coming into divine union, if they're moving, again, if this is energy that has been healing since a Capricorn cycle and you can't change another person's perception on something, this is why a lot of this energy, I see them shaking their head and going, time. I'm handing the baton to you, buddy. I'm handing the baton to you, buddy, right? Because when we come into that space and we see something that we remember and recall, right? If we see something and be like, I remember feeling like that, and I remember that there was no one that was going to change my opinion on something. Nobody was going to change my perception. This is a lot of energy learning a new form of compassion by stepping back and going, time, can you give me help with this? Can you give me a little, can you throw me a little help here? Right? So I feel like what's interesting right now is there's a lot of energy that's coming into divine union that is healing their relationship to time. Because this is the energy that isn't trying to rush a process. This is an energy that is moving into that space of reorienting their own perception of time via seeing something outside of partnership that reminds them of somewhere that they used to be. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, deep within divine union, I'm just seeing that there's a lot of this energy right now deep within divine union that is, how do I put this best? Here's the thing. This energy right now, deep within divine union, it's just annoying. I want to say, you see how, there's something, it's very helpful right now for energy and separation. But for the energy deep within divine union right now, it feels like a lot of working in that context of, I want to say, healing wounds of intimacy is what's coming through right now. Because everything about that energetic testiness or navigating that energetic testiness, it's like working in that space. And this is what I keep seeing about this right now. This is the energy that feels messy, but embraces each other in that messiness. It's feeling very I'm going to put it this way. The energy deep within divine union is feeling very Pisces right now. And that's probably because Pisces moved into the North Node. Okay, thank you. All right, continuing to get clarification between our Page of Swords and its reversal in combination with our King of Cups and its reversal. Can I get one card to clarify, please? One card to clarify. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now with our High Priestess energy. So what's interesting about this, and I like to point this out, the High Priestess energy often feels very similar to the Hermit energy, right? There's a lot of work right there in relationality to contemplation. There's a lot of work that we see there. And this is the thing that one has to be conscientious about, because the thing about certain cards like the Hermit, certain cards like the High Priestess, even sometimes the Sword Suite, the King and Queen of Swords, it's too easy to disassociate. And I'm going to tell you right now, the thing about this energy that I just want you to be wary of is remember how I talked during the full moon in Cancer, how too easy it would be to slip into emotional indulgence, something that makes the emotions feel good and trying to say that it's healing, but it actually isn't, right? do it. Do something super toxic. Say it's for your healing journey, right? Like the ego going, do something crazy and say it's for your healing journey. Like a lot of that type of energy that's why I was telling you, if you felt like something, just give it a minute, like just give it a minute, right? Like just give it a minute. Now, one of the tendencies that we have to be very conscientious and cautious of coming into this new moon energy is the desire to disassociate, to just drift away, to just like, meditate oneself out of existence, to just, wait for the spaceships to come save you. Like that type of energy here. It's like, it's so Aquarian, right? This is your reminder. You know who's here to save you? You're here to save you. You're here to save you. Okay. And that's why I want you to make sure that you're taking some of this and you're letting it come into a space that you're not looking outside of the self. You're not waiting for the energetic solution to come to you. But also yes, because when I say waiting for the energetic solution to come to you, an idea, a plan, a concept. Yes, wonderful. Aquarian energy, waiting for the idea to come to you, but not in the negative Aquarian energy, which is like, help me. Somebody save me. Like, somebody come rescue me. Like, not like that, because there's too much of that tendency here to feel. It's very high vibrational. Right? And the thing with the Aquarian energy, it's like the water in the air, just like, look, we can just evaporate. No, it comes back down. Everything is in an energetic cycle. So just make sure that you're utilizing this energy in productive ways and not disassociating, right? And again, because I'll tell you even now, the thing about it is, if you're going to be disassociating right now, even if you're trying not to. Right? Like that's the thing. It's like the inclination to do so is just there. Continuing to get clarification between our King of Cups and its reversal in combination with our Four of Cups and its upright. Can I get one card to clarify, please? Clarification coming through right now with, again, 10 of Cups in its upright. Right? It's daydreamy energy. It's daydreamy energy. And I got to stress this right now. And this is what I got to warn some energy right now in separation. Don't stand in the way. Listen to me right now. Anyone in separation right now doing this work, do not stand in the way of your manifestation. I'm going to say it again. Do not stand in the way of your manifestation. Because I'm noticing here something in separation. There's a little bit of this testiness. I told you, what have I been warning you guys about? A little bit of this pickiness, a little bit of this like high energy here. Not perfect, feeling triggered, not perfect, feeling triggered, not perfect, feeling triggered, right? And I'm not saying right? There is manifestation refinement that is occurring right now for energy and separation. And this is where the collective reading is going to depart a little bit, because it's going to be different for everyone, right? Because when we see situations that feel like they're manifestation refinements, right? There are moments that help us recognize and acknowledge what is a need to have within the self versus what is a nice to have, right? What identifies something that is, again, fundamental towards a manifestation goal versus something that isn't necessarily important. Remember, manifestation goals are not about getting treats. Manifestation goals, when properly applied, is the journey of finding the self through the things that one aspires and desires for. So a lot of that work in doing so, recognizing and identifying that work, I feel like there's a little bit of this energetic testiness that's occurring right now for energy and separation. And I'm not saying and it's giving me a little bit of this princess in the pea energy, right? Which is, again, it's not picky unless it's important, right? It's not picky. It's absolutely picky unless it's important. This is what we often have to navigate. And there's something about this energy right now that's like so high frequency that it can wear on you, right? It's very easy right now for something to grate upon you. It has to do with where Uranus is, right? I told you, it's like having, like, what do Aquarians often have to work through? Too much pickiness. It stands in the way of moving into an ideal, right? Because that feeling of being energetically picky, right? What it should do is it should help us recognize and amplify what is actually important, right? Again, it's not picky if it's important, but sometimes along the way, we have to navigate and recognize where our ego is being energetically picky, right? So there's a lot of this energy here. It's like being able to articulate what is bothering you. And so we see even now, I want to make sure that there's not a lot of energy right now in separation that is feeling a lot of this high intensity and moves further away from their manifestation goal instead of closer to it because of being energetically picky, right? So make sure that you're talking through it. Don't assume right now. Because again, and I have to keep on looking into this because there's something about where Mercury is right now, that it's far too easy to energetically project or to misunderstand something in relationality to like what another's intention is versus how you receive it. So make sure that you are working towards those manifestation goals and not being picky about something that isn't important. While for a lot of this energy right now coming into divine union, I feel like, again, the energy coming into divine union right now is probably in like the most comfortable space, because I just feel like a lot of this is just firming, like a lot of this energy coming into divine union feeling very aligned in relationality to their own perception on things. There's an amplification that's occurring right now for the energy coming into divine union, seeing something, not just you seeing something, but someone seeing something the way that you do, that feels very fortifying. And again, that's why, because this is the energy that's healing their relationship to time. Because if someone is outside of union that does not see something the way that you do, you're letting time, like time now feels like it is an ally, right? So that's the energy that goes, time, you are my ally, help me with this, because this is the energy that says every like perception can change with time, right? While for energy deep within divine union, all I keep getting is that like energy, and it has to do with, like I told you, I kept misstating all of this Pisces energy, because everything I keep hearing is Pisces, Pisces, Pisces ever since that full moon happened. But apparently it's because, and I'm going to continue to investigate this, Pisces at the exact same time that that full moon happened, pretty much entered Pisces. So there's all this fish everywhere is what I keep getting. I keep hearing there's all this fish. What are we going to do with all this fish? But this is the energy that says, if there's all this fish, let's find something to do with the fish. Like, let's find something to do with the fish. It's like, it's taking new approaches to things. It's looking at things in a different way, but it can feel very like it's messy because the energy is feeling temperamental in having to navigate something that feels overwhelming and not knowing what to do with it. Continuing to get clarification between our Four of Cups in its upright in combination to our Two of Swords in its upright. May I please have one card to clarify? Just bear with me a moment. Clarification coming through right now with our King of Pentacles in its reversal. So again, you know, I'm going to tell you right now, and I'm going to say this for the energy in divine union, hug it out. And I even see even now, like, it's almost like I can't even say hug it out because I see the energy in divine union trying to hug out. And then it's all like, get off of me. Like, it's a lot of this, like, get off of me. It's a lot of this type of energy here. Like, I'm going to say, actually, that's what we need to do. We need to ground the energy. You got to ground it. You got to find a productive channel for it right now. Cause I just see, again, it's too much, and it has to do with feeling something new and not knowing what to do with it, right? It feels super wacky. So, like I keep on hearing, get in your body, move it out, shake it out if you have to. Go find something to do with it. Bring it into the physical space because there's too much of this energy today. It's like it's so ungrounded. And it, in a way, at least for the energy deep within divine union, it also feels ungrounded and unproductive. So that in itself can allow for a lot of inventiveness. Move it into doing something in a new way. Let it change one's own perception. Don't get frustrated, get focused. And I see that a lot right now, and especially as it relates to partnership, making sure you're not taking it out on partner in the process. Because everybody's feeling it. Everybody's feeling it. Continuing to get clarification for the energy coming into divine union. I gotta say, for the energy in divine union right now, this is like, we should all be like, energy coming into divine union right now. This is like the coziest place to be. It's not that it's cozy, but it's more, there's something about comfort that's coming through in that. Feeling some like point of energetic stabilization. While for the energy in separation right now, this is why I'm just saying again, and this is why the message coming for the energy in separation right now is so nuanced. And I keep hearing this. It's not picky. It's either picky unless it's important, in which case it is important. It's not picky unless it's important. There's a lot of this pickiness here. But I keep seeing that. Why? Is because there's a lot of energy right now refining on their manifestation goals. And when we're refining on our manifestation goals, we're looking at something that's bothering us. And we're asking ourselves and saying to ourselves, is this my ego that is energetically bothered by something? Or, right? Like the desire to see something not the way that I want it to be? Or is it something that is actually important? So just make sure that you're not projecting that out right now. Continuing to get clarification, because it's too easy to do so. This Two of Swords gives me anxiety around it, especially with like this Two of Swords and the Three of, these two cards together, Two of Swords and the Three of Pentacles, like the don't take it out on, like don't project it in places it doesn't need to be kind of energy here. It's hard. One card to clarify. Clarification coming through right now with our Page of Pentacles in its reversal. So, there's all of the pentacles right now. I just need to stress this, and I want to show you this because this is very important when we recognize what's happening right now with a lot of this Aquarian energy, because it has everything to do with like the idea of the water bearer, right? Right? For masculine right now, it's weird energy. And we also just had like that crazy alignment. A lot of the masculine energy right now, I see that a lot of the masculine energy is feeling that moment of like, it's like a disassociating from the emotions at the same time of feeling a loss of feeling a little bit of energetic, like instability. But this is why we talk about building into that space of courage, because finding that point of patience within the self, building into that context, working through like a lot of that, it has to do with the masculine. And this is the thing, and I'll put it this way. This is why for the energy deep within divine union right now in separation, it's most fragile. For the energy right now coming into divine union, it's totally fortifying. Because for a lot of the energy right now of masculine, deep within divine union, the instability or working through uncertainty, it's almost like a liminal space, right? Like there's a lot of this energy that's feeling a lot of that sense of trying to build into the context of stability. But this is what's beautiful for a lot of the masculine energy right now, because again, when we are able to channel courage, it's allowing for that sense of building into a place of consistency and building into that space. I see that a lot of this energy right now, deep within divine union, this is the masculine energy working on being, welcome to Aquarius season, inventive, right? What do we do when we're feeling ungrounded? We can be inventive on how we find ways to ground, right? For feminine, this is actually where we saw the feminine. Like, and I think it's so funny that I brought up the fact that the feminine energy wasn't out. And then yesterday, boom, we had the Queen of Pentacles and the Queen of Wands coming out, which are oppositional cards. One's very practical, one's very passionate. So I almost see that a lot of this energy of the feminine, what is the feminine energy doing? They're working intentionally. This is feminine energy working through this ungrounded space. And this is why the feminine being more energetically passive right now. This is the feminine that actually feels like they're accomplishing something. Bearing in mind, this is not based on gender, but what one feels most aligned to. Because this is the feminine that doesn't feel energetically affected, right? That recognizes the difference between what occurs within the self versus what occurs outside of the self. So there's a lot of the energy right now with the feminine feeling the stability in their own powers of perception. Now, that's why we see even now for the energy coming into divine union, this is what feels like it is energetically stabilizing a lot of these partnerships right now, because that ability of navigating some of that turbulence and having the same perception on what is occurring. This is why these are energies right now that are deepening in intimacy in the process. This is the best place to be right now if you're coming into divine union, because you're getting a lot of stability in that space. While for the energy in separation, I'm going to say it again. This full moon in Cancer that we just experienced, it feels like it energetically rocked a lot of the energy in separation, right? It's like a lot of this energy in separation was just going just fine. And then all of a sudden they heard, roar! Like a lot of this emotion just comes out of nowhere, right? But this is the energy that I keep seeing is able to not just feel the emotions. This is the energy. I keep on hearing the energy in separation go, make no mistake. I know the emotions don't hold the map. I just keep hearing both masculine and feminine energy saying, make no mistake. I know the emotions don't hold the map, right? I listen to the emotions to hear what they have to say. I listen to the emotions to hear what they're asking for, right? The emotions do not hold directions. The emotions are a request. And so I see that this is the energy, and this is why some of the energy right now in separation is feeling testy, because I literally see some energy right now in separation that feels like their emotions are coming towards them with unreasonable requests. I hear the energy going, I'm not playing that song. Continuing to get clarification between High Priestess in its upright, right, and our 10 of Cups in its upright. Can I get one card in its one card, please? 2 cards coming out, and there you go. We got our Temperance card in its upright in combination with our Page of Wands, right? Like, look at this. This is beautiful. I mean, I have to say, there's a lot of the feminine energy right now in separation. That is, I want to say this, like, this is a lot of the energy of the feminine in separation that's being very patient. But what's beautiful about this, and I need to point this out, this isn't the feminine that is being patient and saying, I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to wait for the right person or the right thing to come towards me. This is a lot of the energy of the feminine. I feel like this is energy of the feminine asking their higher guides for patience, right? This is a lot of the energy of the feminine working in that space of operating in such a way of almost like saying to themselves and to their higher self, help me recognize the emotions. Help me listen. Help me hear. I see the energy going, help me hear what my emotions are trying to say. So I feel like a lot of this energy right now of feminine is being passive in their emotions, because this is the feminine energy that is listening to the emotions to hear not what the emotions are demanding, but what they are requesting, right? what they're asking for, that they feel like they are lacking, right? So there's a lot of this energy right now of the feminine that's in active listening in that way, but as it relates to themselves. While for masculine energy right now, I just see that a lot of this masculine energy is in this space of working through the this is like some heavy, like this is some heavy work I see right now with masculine, working through some like deep vulnerability, or having been like, I can almost see some situations where there was some like deep emotionality that was released during like during the full moon cycle. And this is a lot of the masculine energy. Like I almost feel like having a little bit of that, like I'll put it this way. Sometimes when we I need to explain this. Sometimes when we're very vulnerable, right? We can start to feel very we have to navigate through like almost the echo of that vulnerability, if you will, right? Sometimes when we come into that space of being of navigating from a place of intimacy, we can often feel very energetically exposed. So I feel like what's interesting that I'm seeing for some of the masculine energy right now is it's like working through the process of intimacy, but not so much in the articulation of intimacy, but the feeling that one often has after one is energetically vulnerable, right? Because it's like that space that sometimes feels like it's even harder to maintain, specifically and particularly because it's like the vulnerability that comes through after one is vulnerable to a certain extent. So both of these energies right now in separation, what are they doing? They're becoming stronger within themselves in the process, right? While for masculine and feminine energy right now that is coming into divine union, I just keep seeing that a lot of this energy coming into divine union is just like, I actually feel like what's interesting about it is like the energy at peace right now is the energy coming into divine union. like there's a lot of this, like there's a lot of this peace that's happening here because this is the energy that is feeling the peace of another sharing their perspective, right? And so it's quiet, but it's almost like a library quiet. Like it's peaceful, but it's quiet in a positive way. Because this is the energy coming into divine union that's learning the ability to protect their peace, right? And often when we're protecting our peace, it doesn't feel peaceful. It doesn't. I see the energy going, I'm protecting my peace. I'm protecting my peace. I'm protecting my peace. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, that is deep within divine union. I'm just seeing that for a lot of the energy right now, deep within divine union, like it's a lot of work on intimacy right now. And it's messy. It's messy. I just feel because there's a lot of energy right now deep within divine union that feels like a mess. And I keep getting it has something to do with where Pisces is. This is the energy that says like, I'm a mess. I feel like a mess. I'm a mess to everybody. I'm sorry about my mess. But this is the energy. But like, here's the thing, like when you have that moment and you just like bless that mess, like I want to say to all the energy right now in divine union, bless the mess, like bless the mess, bless the mess, because that's the energy that is now experiencing a lot of the same lessons that we saw for the energy that was coming into divine union, right? And what was the energy coming into divine union saying a few days ago? It's messy, but it's ours, right? When we love each other, we bless the mess. Continuing to get clarification between our 10 of Cups in its upright in combination with our King of Pentacles in its reversal. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now with boom. And you were getting so worried. You saw all these reversed you saw all these reverse cards here. You saw all this reverse masculine energy cards. And then what do we have here? Right? This is talking about the paradox of strength, right? Often it is in those moments that we feel our most vulnerable that we find our greatest strength, right? Remembering courage. Courage does not feel courageous. Being courageous never feels courageous. It usually feels like you're like, what am I doing? You know? It usually feels like we go through these moments and we question ourselves. We doubt ourselves, right? Because when we're moving with energetic courage, the reason it is not righteous is because we question ourselves every step of the way. So I just keep seeing that there's something really beautiful that's happening right now for a lot of the energy that is deep within, like both in separation and deep within divine union right now, because I'm seeing that there's a lot of energetic alignment that's happening right now for the energy deep within divine union and the energy in separation, which is again a lot of the masculine energy, feeling that vulnerability, and then recognizing that that vulnerability is their strength, right? That it's in those moments that we feel the most vulnerable, that we find that we are the strongest, because our ability to navigate that vulnerability, to not react from the fear, but to hold the pose, as it were, to hold that space, to allow ourselves to embody that. This is the energy of the masculine that is learning the difference between saying, I just slipped, I let my guard down, versus a masculine that says, I hold my intimacy close. It was really sacred what I offered you. And I'm glad, and I continue to feel it that way, right? This is a lot of the masculine energy that's learning to maintain that energetic vibration. Because again, and this is why it's a bit of a Pisces lesson. Why? Because what do Pisces have to go through? It's easy to go with the flow and to let something slip. But to be able to swim upstream, to be able to hold something even after it feels uncomfortable to do so, that is the sign of energetic power, because it is the amplification of the choice we make in being able to navigate something, not just when it feels emotionally easy. And I tell you right now, that Cancer full moon would have probably made it really easy to get very emotional, right? And that's why we see even now, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm seeing that there may be some partnerships that are falling out of alignment right now, not because someone wasn't vulnerable, but because someone is saying, I'm sorry about the vulnerability. That was a mistake. I'm sorry I got like that. Like trying to wash it away, trying to like say that something didn't energetically happen. This is how we can fall out of alignment in those moments, right? Because this is the energy like that, and that's why I told you. Remember what I told you during that full moon in Cancer? When I said don't get emotionally carried away, I meant make sure that you say something that you feel that you'll be able to hold on to the day after and the day after and the day after, because the frequency of love is one of consistency, right? It's not just doing something in the moment that the moon or the energy makes it feel like we're inclined to do it. It's being able to bring our energetic force into those spaces where it feels hard to do it. And the thing is, this energy right now, it's hard to do because everybody wants to disassociate, right? While for feminine energy right now, for a lot of the feminine energy right now, this is the same thing. What does the feminine see in a masculine? What does the feminine see in a masculine that not is only able to be vulnerable for a moment, but holds in that space of vulnerability, right? It's easy to sing a high note once, but to be able to hold an energetic chord, to be able to be energetically consistent in that note. This is the energy that looks towards a masculine that is able to maintain that point of emotional vulnerability, to stand firm on it, and says, never have I seen something more strong than a masculine that was able to maintain that the power and strength it requires to be that energetically vulnerable, because that is the feminine that says, I can clearly see them and they see themselves and they are not ashamed of being in that space. See this? We've got here, and now I tell you, we've got the high priestess energy with this emperor energy. So I'm telling you even now, I told you, there's a lot of partnerships, a lot of energetic connections that are forming right now, these partnerships in separation. right? This is what that looks like. This is the energy that's making that courage, finding that courage with their own two hands. They can't buy it now. Mars is in retrograde. While for masculine and feminine energy right now coming into divine union, this is why I feel like all of this energy, this is the most peaceful energy right now. While for the energy deep within divine union, messy but blessed is what I keep hearing. Messy but blessed. What mess, right? It's in the moment that we acknowledge our messiness that we see it as a blessing. Because I just keep hearing that there's a lot of that energy deep within divine union. In the moment that they say kind of themselves, bless this mess, that's that moment that says we're allowed to be messes when we're works in progress, right? It's the acknowledging of our mess that makes us energetically sacred, because it's that space of saying, it's the desire to work into that context that can feel so difficult, but can also feel like a release. It can feel like a relief. And so I just feel like there's a lot of work that's happening right now, again, deep within divine union, in relationality to healing deep within, like a lot of those wounds of intimacy. Continuing to get clarification between our King of Pentacles and our Page of Pentacles in its reversal. Can I get one card to clarify, please? Clarification coming through. Oh, I got two more cards again. All these cards popping out. Look at this. And this is what we want to be careful of. So we've got here our Page of Pentacles in its upright in combination to the Devil card in its upright. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about this pickiness, right? We're going to talk a little bit about this pickiness, because there's something like a lot of this, and this is why I'm telling you even now, like there are some energetic connections that are happening right now in separation. Something that feels strong, something that feels fortifying, right? But it's also very difficult, because I told you a lot of the energy right now in separation coming towards one another feels like shadow work, right? A lot of that energy working in the context. I just keep hearing a lot of the energy in separation going, I let go of the dream, and in that moment I found the dream. Right? Why is the energy saying that in separation? Because when we build too much in the space of focusing so hard on what we want, we sometimes miss the thing that is in front of us that is that thing, right? It's like, hi, I'm right here. Like, but and you're like looking over them going, no, I'm trying. No, can you move? I'm trying to find my manifestation. Can you, I'm sorry. Can you just move a little to the left? Sorry, I'm looking for them. I'm trying to find my manifestation goal. And you just keep getting in the way. Yeah, thank you. Okay, there. Yeah. Right? That's what we want to avoid right now in separation, because there's a lot of this work that we see that is happening here, right? That when we hold on to something so tightly, and this is why I keep telling you guys, like when you're working on your manifestations, be like, this is what I wanted to feel like. This is what I want. I'm flexy on the rest. I'm flexy on the rest, because I see even now, and I'm not going to say this right now, because I'm like, listen, nothing you should ever receive should be directions. It's giving you a sense of what you're navigating. I'm not saying that there aren't some situations right now in separation where you're potentially coming towards someone and you're seeing something and being like, right? That could be happening here too in a big way, because I'm going to say it again. I want to show you this right now so you understand what I'm reading for. Okay, look at this. Please, if you are listening to the podcast, look at this spread, because it's absolutely beautiful. Okay, look at this. Okay, ready? We've got the Emperor card here. Now look at the two sets that fell across the Emperor right now. What's on the right of the Emperor? Right? The Temperance card and the Page of Wands. Now watch. What's on the other side of the Emperor card? The Page of Pentacles with the Devil card. So I'm going to say it again. And this is where it's like it separates from a collective into the work that you're doing. It's not picky if it's important, right? So when we're navigating energy that says over and over again, it's not picky unless it's important. It is helping one recognize what is foundational to a manifestation goal versus what is standing the way, what is standing in the way of one, right? And that is where it shifts or changes depending on what you are in alignment to. So just make sure you're not being picky over something that isn't actually important. But that doesn't mean you can't be picky. If you're being picky over something that is like an absolute, like, no, like that, then that's fine. You understand what I'm saying here? Don't misunderstand me. While continuing, for a lot of this energy right now, this is why I said that there's a lot of energy right now coming into divine union that's healing their relationship to time. Because look at this. You see this? This is time. And this is the energy being like, oh no, I see how they see something and they think that this is happening, but they're not over here. And the only thing that's going to change their perception is this guy right here. Like the only thing that might change their perception is this guy right here. When Papa Time comes in, maybe someone else will see something in a way that's different. So we see even now like a lot of that energy here of being like, like that's what I told you. A lot of energy being like, time, please let time work here. Continuing to get clarification here for the energy deep within divine union. A lot of this energy deep within divine union. This is why there's so much of this energy here that, like, I'm going to tell you, it's bouncing back and forth. I said this yesterday. This is what this alignment is creating right now. That if it feels like everything's more intense, we had like a 6-planet planetary alignment yesterday. So the best way I could describe what I was seeing is, remember how I told you about that roller coaster? The Mars roller coaster that was going up and down day by day. Well, guess what? The alignment made it so that the resonance of that was going like this. It's just going like this right now, like hour by hour, minute by minute. It's not even day by day. It just amplified, it ramped it up. So if you feel like you're bouncing back and forth between like everything's fine to everything's awful every 5 minutes like a pinball, welcome to the vibe. Well, like welcome to the vibe. Would you like a seat? Would you like a seat at the vibe? Can I get you a menu? Continuing to get clarification right now between our Page of Wands, our Temperance card in its upright, in combination with our Emperor card in its upright. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our Ace of Wands in its reversal. So I'm going to say it again. You know, one of the things we have to be a little bit conscientious about today, the desire to disassociate is just going to increase as we move closer to this new moon. It's a messy full moon. Again, I keep on seeing, even though it's an Aquarian new moon, all of this Pisces energy around it. And it's something about, like, I keep on hearing, what are we going to do with all this fish? Because it's like I told you the description here of like the wave. Like we saw that pullback that we had with the Capricorn new moon, the full moon in Cancer was like the wave that came over. The wave pulls back. There's all this fish there. And so it's really easy to see the mess and go, I don't want to deal with this. No, like absolutely not, right? It's like that desire to just like be like, you know what, we could just leave this here for someone else to deal with. Like, you know, like a lot of that feeling, like all of those feelings, right, that come up. What do? Remember that if you're feeling like disassociating, it's too easy right now. There's an inclination, like the new moon's going, you know what you could do? You could just disassociate. Just come up here and disassociate. Don't worry about it. Everything's gonna be fine. No, you get your hands dirty. You know, somebody's got to do it, right? And so for a lot of the energy right now, deep within divine union, if you're feeling a lot of that messy, how do you bless the mess? You start working on it, right? You bless the mess, but then you start getting your hands dirty, right? You bless the mess, but then you move yourself into doing something about that energetic messiness. So allowing, like, let that be the moment that you have to push out of your comfort zone with some of this energy. Don't just say, like, it is what it is. Say it is what it is, and it will be what we choose, we make it to be, right? And so I just keep seeing that there's a lot of that energy healing partnership right now, deep within divine union. By having some of these moments that feel like you get frustrated about one's own messiness or the messiness of another, and then you immediately come into the state of correcting it, right? It's like a little bit of this like hanger on for some of this Capricorn energy that we're departing from. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, coming into divine union, this is the energy that I just feel like, again, I keep on hearing brick house. Like this is the energy that's like, it's like, this is the energy that feels like it's Capricorn energy, because this is the energy that says we built this brick by brick. it's like we built this brick by brick, and other people's perceptions of it do not knock it down, is what I keep hearing. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, in separation, I keep on hearing this energy that says, I keep on hearing the energy in separation, giving a plea to the universe and saying, please let me be able to see. Because the reason, and this is why I almost see a lot of this energy right now working through some kind of context of the emotions, because it is the like there's something about those emotions trying to like either please let me see or please let me hear. Like the amplification of an emotion on something that hasn't changed. That was a lot of why some of the energy right now in separation feels tested. They're like, why did that get so loud all of a sudden? Right? Like, what is it trying to tell me? But what's beautiful about this is the energy right now, and this is why Scorpio, I keep hearing Scorpio is helping the energy in separation. Because Scorpio is not just saying, go after something that's loud, go after the volume of something. Scorpio is kind of acting like an interrupter here and going, has something changed? Or did the volume just raise, right? Because that ability of navigating, what is Scorpio good at doing? Recognizing transformation, right? And again, that's where nostalgia comes from, because sometimes when we're feeling really nostalgic, but we look at it and go, nothing's changed, that's where you're like, yep, that's nostalgia, right? And that's the energy saying, that's not something that has changed, or I have changed, right? There's a lot of that processing that's happening here. And I keep on telling you, I just keep seeing a lot of energy and separation coming together during this period. And I keep on hearing them say, I surrendered the dream and found the dream. Why are they saying that? Because this is the energy that surrenders and lets go of what they expected or what they were trying to control. And they open their arms to what is waiting for them that is potentially beyond their wildest dreams in the process, right? Continuing to get clarification here between our Emperor card, our Knight of Pentacles, and our Devil card in its upright. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now with our World card in its upright, and I'm very happy to see the card in its upright. And I got to stress this. I want you to go look at the comparison between today's reading and yesterday's reading. This was our final card yesterday, right? And now we see it's moved positions. It's moving into the frequency. It's moving deeper into it, because a lot of this work here is, again, and I got to tell you this, a dream is just a dream until you make it a reality, right? And again, you can't, I keep on hearing there's some kind of strong message coming through with this, is like you can't dream your way out of something, right? Like that's the thing. But here's the thing, you can dream your way out of something. Right? When we allow our dreams to become too perfected, we don't want to make them materialize, because it feels like materializing them corrupts them, right? This is heavy work that often has to be navigated by Aquarian energy. When we get so focused on our ideals, we remove the possibility of our energetic ideal to be able to become a reality. Because we become too fixated on the fact that the nice thing about a dream is that it can be perfect, while reality is an imperfect place. So I want you to make sure that you're not disassociating right now or getting too picky because something isn't the way that you expected it to be. If it isn't, what does the higher self say, right? The ego says, I won't do it because it's not perfect. What does the higher self say? Why is it so important to you that it must be that way? Why is it so important to you that it must be that way? Answer the question. And I'm not saying answer the question because I'm saying answer the question because the answering of that question will help you come out of disassociation. It'll help you recognize what is coming from your ego that says, because I want it. Because why? Because I want it to be that way? Is that what you were about to say? Were you about to say the reason is because you want it to be that way? But if the answer is, I need it to be that way because now we're getting we're getting somewhere. What is the higher self always saying? Answer the question so that I can see myself better. Show me who we are. Final card for today's spread, between our Ace of Wands in its reversal, in combination with our World card in its upright. One card to clarify, please. Clarification. Oh, yes. I know it stinks. I got to tell, please, go look at yesterday's spread. It's over on the Substack. This card, the Three of Swords, was in the position that the World card was in yesterday. These two cards are still together here, right? And that's the thing I need to stress. Yesterday, the final three cards we had were the Five of Wands in its upright, the Three of Swords in its upright, and the World card, right? And that was the energy of the disassociation coming in, being like, I'm just going to dream myself out of this. I'm going to disbelieve the illusion. I'm just going to come into that. And this is the energy that says, you can do that all you want, but it doesn't change anything. Like, this is the energy that says you can exist in that space, in that space of dreaming, but working into the tangible space is how we turn dreams into reality. And so I see even now that there's a lot of that energy right now in separation. That's why I keep on hearing that this is why some of these partnerships are coming together, because this coming into partnership is looking upon something of the past, feeling like you're letting it go, going, that is not, I'm letting that go because I'm leaving my arms open to the reality that is before me, right? That is that moment that almost feels like the energetic surrender, because you kind of say to the universe, like, I'm working with you here. Like, I'm working with you here. Show me what you got. Right? And it feels painful when we do that, right? Because we have to navigate the fact that, like, again, like when we try to control everything, including how we want something to be, we cloud our eyes to the possibilities, right? And so again, this is about the conversation of trusting the universe, but that trusting the universe doesn't mean like I'm just going to sit here and wait, right? It's saying, this is what I can do. I leave the rest up to you. Well, for masculine, and that's what's happening right now for both masculine and feminine energy. Masculine, being able to be vulnerable, but not just feeling vulnerable at one time, not just doing it when it's easy, right? Because there's moments where it's like, oh, right? This is a lot of masculine energy I see right now that may have emotionally opened up in some ways, now going, it would be really easy for me to say, oh yeah, I was just kidding. Oh no. Like the ego wants to jump in and be like, no. Like, oh, I don't know what I said there. Like, no. This is the masculine energy that's learning the weight of how it feels, not just to be open once, but to be able to maintain the frequency of vulnerability, right? While for a lot of the feminine energy, this is the feminine energy that's learning to, again, work on that space of navigating boundaries versus the space of the pickiness versus what is important. While for masculine and feminine coming into divine union right now, this is the energy. I almost see the energy feeling both bittersweet, and it's the fact that they share the exact same perception on that bittersweetness that is what is fermenting or firming up a lot of those partnerships. While for a lot of this energy right now, deep within divine union, it's embracing one's own mess and then being able to embrace another's in the process. Because the more that we're able to find that sense within us, it is the gift that we're able to give to others in the process, right? Bottom of the deck on this reading, Ace of Pentacles in its reversal. I told you, like, I know reality, it's it's a real pain in the butt, isn't it? Not ideal. Like, that's the problem here. And I just want to point out, remember how leading into the big hurdle that we're experiencing right now is, you'll remember over the last few days, a lot of the words that we kept seeing that were coming through were not ideal, not ideal, not ideal. And the difficulty with Aquarian energy is Aquarian energy often wants to live. Like, Aquarian energy is like, hear me out. Ideal. Like, just absolute ideal. Like Atlantis energy. Like, what if we just, like, what if everything's just perfect all the time? Things can't be perfect. Perfect is not a place. Perfect is, it's everything's perfect up here. Everything's perfect up here. It's what you can do with it here, right? So don't let perfect stand in the way of real. And that doesn't mean, and again, it has to do with pickiness. It doesn't mean you can't be picky. But if you're being picky, make sure that it's important, right? Make sure that you recognize, and again, if you're not sure what that is, I told you, like, make sure that you say, if you're feeling picky about something, what is the higher self saying to you? Why is it important? And that's not the energy that's trying to diminish you by asking that. It's asking because it's saying, show me, help me understand, help me see what that is. Help me be able to see myself more clearly. That's always what the higher self says to us. Help me. I need you to explain a little bit more so I can see myself a little bit more clearly. That is our daily collective read for today. I want to thank you guys so much for being here and experiencing it. Just a reminder, if you would like to book a private reading with me, you can do so on my website. Please keep in mind, if you book a private reading with me, it is a 2-step process. You have to book the reading, you have to pay for the reading. Please make sure you do both if you'd like to have that reading. Most importantly, please remember that I will never, ever, 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 ever reach out to you for a private reading. I will never DM you. I will never PM you. I will never slide into your inbox and tell you that I have a very important message that only I can deliver. The only way you can book a reading with me is if you book one on my website. So I encourage you to do it there. Also, a couple of updates before we move into personal readings today. First and foremost, thank you to everyone who attended our most recent class, Studying the Hermit Card. Our next class will be held on Wednesday, February 19th at 6 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. Eastern. We will be continuing our studies on the tarot with a focus on the Wheel of Fortune. I am so excited to teach this class. We might be breaking it into 2 classes because it is a very complex, complicated card. We might not necessarily have the full time to do it in an hour as we usually schedule for the classes. If you would like to become a part of our tarot class program, all you need to do is become a paid subscriber to my Substack. You can find graystrega.substack. Over on your paid subscription to my Substack is your ticket of entry into our live classes each and every month. You will also have access to over 9 hours worth of material in the Tarot Church Library, and you will also have access to a one-on-one chat with me and the other students to ask any questions that you may have in relation to anything that we have studied thus far or are currently learning. Also, if you become a founding member to my Substack, not only will you receive a discount on the full year's worth of classes, but you will also receive full access to the full Tarot Church Library, and you will also receive a complimentary one-on-one mentorship class with me, wherein I will assess where you are on your own personal tarot journey and give you the best insights in terms of how to utilize those classes to the best of your advantage going forward. One of the things I tried to do in these classes was make them accessible to the absolute novice tarot reader as well as the seasoned reader. There's definitely something there for everyone, regardless of your level or your experience. So I thank you if you're already attending those classes, and I look forward to seeing you at our next class. And even if you don't, and also if you are a subscriber over on the Clock app, I would encourage you to head over to our subscriber-only Discord channel. You will also have access to that if you are a member on the place where we keep the videos. There you will find a very special coupon code that will give you an additional discount to that Substack subscription. Even if you don't become a paid subscriber to my Substack, I would encourage you to follow me there to stay up to date on any new offerings, services. I post my weekly newsletter there, which will let you know about my in-person events as well as my online live schedule. Finally, I want to let you guys know that on top of my standard life path readings, I also offer mentorship classes. These are for any of my clients that are seeking a more personalized educational experience with me. I take a very limited number of students for this reason. Those classes can be purchased on an individual level or as a monthly class series, weekly or bi-weekly as your schedule permits. Also, for my clients that are seeking more consistent weekly tarot support, I'm very happy to offer weekly tarot insight packages. That is a package of 4 30-minute readings, again, weekly or bi-weekly as your schedule permits, so that you can stay more consistent on your personal journey. I also want to let you guys know that I'm now offering dream interpretation readings. These readings can either be purchased on an individual level to assess a particular dream, or if you'd like to work weekly with me on all of your dreams, I just encourage you, if you purchase the package, to start keeping a dream journal. We will meet weekly or bi-weekly to analyze and assess your dreams, and then utilize the tarot to discover any key significant symbols or lessons that are coming through the dream space. I want to thank you guys so much for being here today and sharing in these messages, and we will do this again.